Hello, good morning, everybody. I am Vince Montero, and welcome to Sir Tacos Tuesday with me, Vince Montero. Sorry for being a couple minutes late. Had some technical difficulties over here with my camera, and I still look a little orange. So I promise you, I'm actually not that tan. It's just my camera. Actually, I should be tan. I live at the beach, so let's just go with that. So we've got a really interesting topic today, and I'm hoping that you guys are excited for learning some of the things that I learned while I was at Prosper 2023. We are live right now across three different platforms: our Trivium YouTube channel, as well as our LinkedIn channel, and I believe Facebook as well. So I always like to see, where you guys are checking in from. If you guys have ever watched any of my previous Tacos Tuesday sessions while I was at Helium 10. The goal of these is always to share some kind of information that I have found that I think might be interesting to share and to maybe practice or maybe do some testing on. So that's one of the reasons why when I went to Prosper was what, last week, 2 weeks ago now. I thought, it'd be really good to be able to bring some of these ideas and tactics, and even just some tips that I heard over to this audience. So I do have the typical slides that I want to share with you guys to kind of highlight some of my thoughts. I find that kind of an easier flow to go through my thoughts. And while I'm doing that, though, make sure if you guys want to, if you have a question about anything I'm sharing while I'm sharing it, feel free to leave a question in the comment section. If I see it, then I will definitely try to answer it. If I'm in the middle of some of the content and I don't see it to the end, I will try to answer it after that. So, that being said, I will leave room after the fact to answer questions because I do like to do Q&A in all of these sessions. So we have content and then Q&A. This is a place where you guys can come and ask your questions directly of me about anything to do with PPC. If it's outside of the scope of PPC, I probably won't be able to answer the question, as PPC is my specialty. Unless it's about, listing optimization and things that you can do to improve your listing that then might help with improvement in your PPC. Those are types of questions that I can answer as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that I can see all the comments here. So if you guys want to, if someone can actually just throw in a question, I want to make sure I'm looking at the right section. I used to have somebody managing the back end for this for me while I was at Helium 10, but now I'm kind of running the whole thing myself. So I'm pretty sure I can see the comments. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the presentation. So top tips for Prosper. We got a hello from Danielle. Perfect. So thank you, Danielle, for letting me know that I can actually see your questions if they do come up. So feel free to, again, ask questions as I go through any of this. It will be kind of in depth. I'm assuming that a lot of you are going to know a lot of concepts around PPC as I'm sharing these things. And again, these are just nuggets that I found. So, if it's too advanced, leave a question and I'll go into more detail about whatever it is that I am talking about. All right. So the one thing that was leading most of the conversations that I was having about PPC specifically was sponsor brand video. If you guys aren't running sponsor brand video, if you're not brand registered, definitely one of the major benefits of being brand registered is that you can actually run video ads. Not only that in the sponsor brand, but there's also sponsored display video placements as well. Video is becoming more and more important to Amazon, and you'll see pretty much why in some of these stats and tips that I'm going to go over. So why are these particular sponsored ads important though? Just, to reiterate, obviously it's a video, it's much more engaging. It's going to give your product a boost, especially at launch. It's going to help shoppers quickly discover your product and learn about it and how to use it because you're showing them hopefully in a video format. The goal of that is to grow your sales and increase your revenues. But this is an important one as well, is it builds your reputation with Amazon shoppers. So especially those shoppers that might not be making a purchasing decision right away, if they see your video a couple of times or in a couple of different placements, that's really powerful, and is a sign to that shopper that, oh, this shopper or this seller of this particular product, is a professional in their area, for this product. So I'm going to consider them more heavily than ones that I'm not seeing video for. So that's definitely a solid reason why video is important. The other thing is a stat that I did hear while I was at the show was, and this is I think Amazon did a survey of the shoppers, and 60% of the shoppers said that they want to learn about your product through video. So, and that makes sense because it's an easier way to learn about your product is by visually watching and taking in your benefits and features. In my first Sir Tacos Tuesday for Trivium Group, which was last month, I did have a sponsor brand video specialist, Rob Whitsley of Video Fresh, on, and he went through everything basically you need to do to make your video successful, as well as things you shouldn't be doing to make your video successful. So if 60% of shoppers are saying they want to learn about your product through video, definitely take a look at that episode if you have not yet watched it or have not yet created your videos, and try to use those as guidelines when you're moving forward with video. So one thing that I did want to share that is brand new that I'm still struggling finding sometimes, but I'm going to try it up since this is a small group. I'm just going to pop out and see if I can find this in Amazon. But there's a new video placement and it's top of search. This is very, very powerful, obviously, because it's right below the search bar. So sponsored brand ads are typically, 3 or 4 different placements, or sorry, an image and 3 different products in this placement that you see that's highlighted here. But now you can actually have a video playing there, right? So now, why is that important? Obviously, it's the most direct way to reach shoppers. If they're on the mobile phone, especially, they can really see that really, really quickly. And I have a YouTube video all about this that's coming out. But a couple notes on this one. You have to create this campaign utilizing ad groups to unlock this functionality. So if you're already running a video campaign, chances are you don't have it in an ad group because ad groups are very new for sponsor brand campaigns or sponsor brand video in particular. And you have to have a store. If you don't have a store, you can't get this top placement, because that's another requirement of this particular placement, is that you have to have it directed to a store. That could be, different pages within your storefront on Amazon, but it does have to be in an ad group and be directed to a store. So chances are, if you're already running a video ad for that middle placement or the bottom of the page placement, you're going to need to create a brand new ad, and then hopefully it will be seen in this top placement, although there's not direct reporting yet on it. But again, very powerful placements. It's something I want to share, as much as possible. So let's go ahead and take a look at to see if I can find this in Amazon. Again, I've been trying to baby swaddle blanket was something that I was told by Amazon that I could pretty much get a video placement right away. But I recently launched this campaign for a client. So let's see if it's actually working for them. Perfect. It is. So you can see this is just, the top of the search. I typed in the search word for crutches, and you have a video that's automatically playing right here in the top position. Again, I don't have to explain why this is so powerful, right? You guys watching this, or if you've seen this already while you're shopping on Amazon yourselves, you should understand why this is so powerful. So this particular video is very useful for this particular type of product, because you can see the person using the product, right? So the more you can do that with your products, real life, letting people know how they can use their product like they're doing here in this video, it's going to increase the sales. And but like I said, typically this product also gets the middle placement as well, and they are. So you are, if you're doing a really good job at your PPC, and this placement in the middle of the page is the original placement, or the older placement, if you want to call it. So technically, these are 2 different campaigns, and same seller, same product, obviously, but in 2 different campaigns. So really what's happening here, and what you'll just have to watch, is, if you want to A/B test it, you can really see, is this one campaign that does include this top placement, outperforming my other campaign, which is historically seen in the middle placement. I still don't know. This is something that I'm going to be watching very closely as I A/B test this myself. So I'm very glad that I was able to actually find this placement for you guys, because I did want to show it. Now, what are some of the things that you can do with creative? And this is for video, but it's also for different creatives as well. But this works really well for video, which is why I wanted to place it here. Now, this tactic is beneficial for those sellers that maybe do have a broader budget, because it does take additional budget to launch multiple types of campaigns with different creative or with different videos. But again, this is just a tactic that I learned and I heard and thought, that's a very, very smart thing to do, especially with these new video placements. So what you might want to think about doing is just look at your PPC. If you've got data already, maybe find the top 5 long tail keywords and create different opening videos for each of those. So, for example, if you're selling a product, I think the example that was given was a folding a luggage that happens to fold, and you've got in your video, a person using the baggage or the luggage, but they're not showcasing the folding feature. Well, if you see a lot of your top long tail keywords that include the word folding in it, you might want to reconsider maybe adding a shot or reshooting a video or adding creative that has the folding aspect up front, right? So you would basically just take very specific long tail keywords. These are keywords that are search terms that the shopper has, maybe 3 or 4 different terms. So they're really looking for something specific. When they type in a more searched words for their search, they're being very specific. Unlike the search I just did, which is just crutches, very, very broad. Let's say they said crutches for adults at least 7 feet tall, right? That's very, very specific. So obviously, if it crutches for kids aren't, that's not valid. So that's not somebody that should be showing up for that person that's looking for a crutch for an adult that's 7 feet tall. So if you've got these very specific types of long tail keywords, and you can try it without the data as well, you could maybe try to think of some long tail keywords you want to be relevant for. I prefer looking at data, using data. And you can do that if you've been running PPC for quite some time. Again, and pulling those out, creating different creative, not only your static images, maybe for your sponsor brand, sponsor display, but specifically for video, showcasing whatever that feature is that the shopper is typing in right at the front. So you're really speaking right to them. And this could also be found in the top phrases of your reviews. So if you look at your reviews, maybe you haven't been running PPC for a while. That's why I put this bullet here. If you see some top phrases in there that are reoccurring, that are, again, very specific to maybe a benefit or feature of your product, maybe that is a specific creative that you want to build out and target those keywords, or refilm, reshoot, or maybe move some elements around in your video to showcase that. So again, benefits obviously talks to more types of shoppers, talks to very specific types of shoppers as well. It's going to keep them engaged and increase the consideration, obviously, for your product. If they're seeing something very specific to their search query, it's going to improve consideration. It moves the other related videos off your page. So you can now have up to 5 videos on your PDP. So on your listing, you can have up to 5 videos. And the more you add videos there, you also bump out, sponsored competition that might be somewhere else on the page. Typically in the middle of your listing, you do have places for other videos. You can add them there too. And so basically what we're saying is the more videos you create, you can leverage them for these other places on your page and potentially kick out, competitors. And again, it deepens the branding with shoppers. Another thing that I did learn, which was quite interesting and I'm excited to do, video can now be added to your A+ content. So you've got all these different places now where you can use video, A+ content, being one of them at the bottom of the page, which is already very, very good for branding. Now imagine being able to add a video there as well. So, if you haven't done this yet, it's brand new, so you probably haven't. Maybe take this tip into consideration. Look at your long tail keywords that are making the most sales. Look at the top phrases in your reviews that are indicating that you're making more sales. Maybe film that type of video to be added into your A+ content. All right, another kind of tactic or strategy that I did hear about at Prosper, which I thought was interesting, refining category targets with price banding. So what does that mean? So if you guys are running any kind of ASIN targeting or category targeting, basically product targeting campaigns within Amazon, that means you are targeting the detail pages. You are targeting the ads that are seen once somebody clicks on a particular product and they go to the page. So any of those ads that are seen on that page, which are primarily sponsored display, you can actually select categories and say, I want to be in this particular category. So in this example, the category is exercise and fitness dumbbells. So obviously this is a fitness type of seller, and they're running campaigns. And maybe their products are, within a couple $100 range. And really, most people, the way I typically teach this is to have a competitive advantage. You really want to be seen on products or listings where you're all right. That's back. Hopefully, if somebody can put in a comment that they can see me, that'd be great, just so I know for sure. It looks like I'm back, but the page went blank for a second there. So anyway, so for this particular tip, it's basically saying you don't really know what you don't know. So one way to make sure that your product does well or fair, thank you. Thank you, Nicholas. One way to make sure that your product does fare well against other types of competitors at certain price points is to actually just, break them up with different price banding. And basically, all you're saying is in one campaign, all the different categories are broken up and price is the only differentiator. So you've got a band from 200 to 400, which in this case it looks like it's paused, maybe because it's got a higher ACOS. You got 100 to 200, 300 to 400, 200, 300. So it's basically just breaking it up into $100 increments for the ones that are active in this example. And that's what's called price banding. Again, as the note says, it's a test to see what price points for a category targets the most shoppers convert and what ROAS or ACOS. So in this screenshot above, basically more optimization layers, right? So you can actually refine each one of these price points if you wanted to drill them down even more. But again, this is all about testing and testing creative, testing price points, which is what this is. But this typically isn't talked about, which is why I wanted to bring it up. People test titles, people test bullet points, people test images, videos, but I don't see a lot of testing of prices as far as targeting within bands. And so I thought this was interesting to share with you guys. Another thing that I saw in actually right before Prosper and heard about it again while I was there was brand impression share. So Amazon's really trying to do a better job of giving insights on your branded keywords versus non-branded keywords. So this is something that they're rolling out, or they have already rolled out. I have not yet seen it in my particular accounts that I have access to. I haven't looked for it yet, though, but I just wanted to share it. So this is something, because again, it's something that's new. So you can basically see for your sponsor product and sponsor brand keywords. So this isn't for sponsored display, but your sponsor products and sponsor brand keywords that drive top of search impression share on your branded terms. So obviously, if you have that type of information, you can update the bids or apply bid modifiers for the top of search impressions within a campaign. So if that doesn't make sense, I think I'll be doing a reel or a YouTube video on this to deep dive a little bit more into it. But I just wanted to share with you guys that this is available. Now, typically what you want to do is have your branded keywords in their own campaigns, right? So that is the best practice, is to figure out what your branded keywords are. And all that means is, let's say your product is iWalk, which was that crutch we were looking at. So if you are that seller, you basically want to make sure your iWalk keywords, so search terms that a shopper might put in, all include the word iWalk. You want to include as many different variations as possible and put those in campaigns, and to really kind of optimize and streamline your optimizations based on branded versus non-branded. However, sometimes that's challenging. You have auto campaigns. Auto campaigns can find different versions of branded keywords, and which is what auto campaigns are supposed to do. They're supposed to find different search terms that maybe you didn't think of that a shopper might type into the search bar. So that's where I feel like this might come into handy, because you really should try to have as much control as possible, but there's always going to be those branded keywords or search terms that are creating sales that maybe are outside of your branded keyword campaigns that you haven't yet noticed, that you can then leverage this new feature to at least take a look at and make some decisions right within the Amazon Ads console. So I hope that makes sense. This is, again, kind of a new feature, but it's very specific to a type of keyword, which in this example is a branded keyword, which is very interesting, to me at least, that Amazon is, kind of moving in that kind of direction. Because a lot of PPC, I hear it all the time from different clients, well, what's my branded keywords that are driving the most sales? And do I really need to be advertising on those branded keywords? I always tell them yes, because if you don't, other people are going to be advertising on your keywords, which is not good. But having metrics like this are going to be a little bit more helpful in explaining, the true value of those branded keywords in those campaigns. All right, so this is something kind of fun. Again, a little bit advanced, but these are the things that I found the most interesting while I was, again, at Prosper. And what is this? AI attention heat maps. Basically, what this is looking A/B testing images, right? So again, we were talking about A/B testing things, and what you've got here is 3 different images at the top, and what you can see is this company Zyro.com. They let you know which of the images are the most attractive, which means which are the images that get the most attention. So I don't know how they do it, but they have a way of letting the user of the tool know, hey, the image that has the most amount of red in it is going to be the one that is the most effective, because it is the one where the shopper is looking at the most and looking into the most. So in this example, you might think all 3 images look pretty good at the top, and you might go with one or the other. Maybe you could use a service like PipFu and get real-time updates, or I should say live person updates on people basically voting on which image they like the best. But this is kind of a variation on that. And it's using AI, which is again another topic that came up quite a bit while I was at the Prosper show. But for PPC, I thought this was the most interesting. And if you didn't know, now you know, because you can see the one with the most red is the one at the far right. It's the one with the words of the product as well as the person's eye. And that's why it's the one that is the most powerful, because it does draw the shopper's attention. People's eyes in general are very, very, that's what we look at in general as humans. We look at other people's eyes, and we're constantly doing it. Even if we don't notice it, if we're walking about, we look at people's eyes just to make sure, I guess, maybe who they are. Do we know them? Are we safe? But this also says a layer of words is another thing that we tend to look at, which is why this one in the far right is the most powerful. So there's many paid services that offer AI attention heat mapping. Many are designed for website design, but all work just as well for analyzing video frames. So this is really helpful in your static creative. Obviously, if you're just wanting to have one image for your sponsored display, or maybe for your sponsored brand, that you can do lifestyle imagery, this is really helpful for. But maybe in analyzing your videos, you can really say, okay, I know which is the most attention getting, so maybe I'll make that the intro, right? Or maybe I'll make that the static frame for my video before it starts to play, right? So that third one was looking harmful. Gotcha. So the third one was looking, yeah, it does look like the person is kind of meshed into the product. So I do agree with you. It is kind of an odd looking picture, but again, it is the one that is the most powerful according to this this AI heat map from Zyro.com. So there's other services out there. There's Zyro.com, Expose.io, AttentionInsight.com. I'm not getting any kind of kickback for talking about these guys. But I did want to share, which is something that my friend Rob Whitsley shared. And he might have shared this in last month's, but I think this is important enough to bring it up as another tip. Again, because Sponsor Brand Video was such a hot topic at Prosper. You can actually do something quite similar for free. So instead of using these, other services that I list right here and paying, you can actually just use YouTube and upload your video into YouTube. You don't even have to launch the video. You can basically do everything that you would if you were going to normally upload a video and just let it run and then cancel it. But before you cancel it, you can look at the thumbnail, and which is circled here. You can use divided through action opening frames. So basically, you're using YouTube because and whatever the videos you they tell you. These three are probably the ones that are going to be the most effective. So you use this as your thumb, which is the kind of the interested image. So again, this is a way if you had to go, you should have access to YouTube. Everyone has access to YouTube. You can kind of see, okay, this is the image that I should lead with for my creative, or maybe as an intro to my video. All right. Lastly, another service that I found that I thought was fascinating, negative review removal. So a lot of people have issues sometimes, especially as you get bigger and bigger. You might have competitors in the space that come after you and leave negative reviews. And these are the types of things that Amazon typically is good at catching, but sometimes they're not. So what I found interesting, and the benefits of negative review should be obvious. If you've got 100 reviews and 10 of them are negative, right? That's 10% of your total review count, which is going to affect your star ratings. If you can just get half of those removed, it's only 5%. So it really does change the way your listing appears to the shopper, because it shifts around, those rankings, those stars. So it really is important to number one, try to address any negative reviews if you can personally. But if, again, as you get bigger and bigger, you might find that you're actually being targeted by other peers, other competitors in the marketplace. And that is something that I thought this is really helpful that this service came out. So white glove review removal. And basically I called it that simply because they're not doing anything illegal. They're not doing any kind of black hat tactics to remove these reviews. All they're doing is kind of looking at the reviews and finding the things that Amazon should catch, because Amazon does have a bunch of different terms of service about reviews, about what kind of reviews are acceptable, what kinds are not acceptable. But Amazon's a massive company, and sometimes I've often found Amazon doesn't know. Sometimes right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing because they are such a massive company. So in this example, this made sense to me that all they're doing is kind of letting Amazon know, hey, we see this, this, and this. This is a pattern. This is probably a bot, right? Or this is maybe another competitor that keeps buying the same product but keeps leaving a negative review. So what's the likelihood of somebody buying a product, leaving a negative review, but then they buy it a few more times? That doesn't make any sense. So this service called Celtech, which I left his information right there. They basically just go to Amazon. They have a whole system set up. They know exactly which department within Amazon is going to get the best response. Apparently, there's several different departments that can help with the review removal. I think up to 5. And the way they work is if they don't get they only get paid basically on a review getting removed, which I thought was very great. Very limited access to the Amazon seller account. They do need a minimum of 500 reviews to work with. Again, so this is for a larger account, and because that's more likely you're going to have some of these maybe these incidences of kind of black hat tactics. So this is the answer to some black hat tactics out there that some companies and even some sellers do sometimes against other sellers, and they're 100% compliant with the Amazon terms of service. And again, like I said, that's because everything they're doing is basically trying to follow Amazon's terms of service and letting Amazon know, hey, this is out of your terms of service. Can you please get these removed? All right. So I do see there are some questions here, which is great, or maybe even just some comments. So now is your time to ask questions, guys. So if you've got your questions, please put them in the chat and I will answer them. But just as a reminder for the next session, this is what my concept is for next month's session is ChatGPT and some AI. I know we talked about a little bit about AI today with those heat maps, but I'm going to go into more different things that I find are interesting and that are going to be really helpful and effective with your PPC. If you do have any questions or ideas, so questions about today's session, or if you have ideas for future sessions that you would like to see me present about, go ahead and leave them there at vince.m@triviumco.com. So that is my email. And I might regret this later, that putting it out there, but that is my email at Trivium. And I do like seeing, what it is that you guys want to talk about in upcoming sessions. So let's see if there are any questions here that I can answer right now. Katari says, I don't know it's right to talk about this or not. My question is, how can I learn this design course from India? Yeah, Katari, I don't know. The design that I was talking about here was from a company that specializes in video. And so the bullets that related to that were basically things that he learned on his own. But I do know that there are some India-based companies. In fact, I met somebody from India that is really kind of in deep with India and not only trainings, but also taking people over to look at products potentially to market. So if you want to email me, Katari, I can probably give you his name, and then actually he would be the best person to ask. Oh, you're welcome. Can we get your next session link to my email? Yeah, again, email me. So vincem@triviumco.com. We're supposed to have an email go out. It might have gone out this morning. I have no idea. The goal is to get the emails out, obviously, a few days ahead of time. I'm not sure if that happened, but if you send me, if you email me, I'll make sure that your email gets added to our email list. Nicola says, would be a good idea to use video ads if we just launched the product 2 months ago, or is it better to still get data from the keywords? That's a good question, Nicholas. I always think it's better to launch videos sooner than later. Videos are still the highest converting ad unit. So they're the highest converting campaign. So even if you have data from PPC, you're running it for a few months, and let's say you pull out some keywords, maybe some ASINs to target from those PPC, and then you launch video, the video is going to outperform it. So I would say if you've done a really, really good job, which you should do, there's plenty of tools out there like Helium 10 to do your keyword research and find good ASINs. I definitely think it's worth doing, even if it's just a simple video. It doesn't have to be, like, it doesn't have to look like a TV commercial. It could just be images and music. There is a video builder that you can use now within Amazon itself. I don't know if it's available in all countries. I think it is, but Amazon does have a video builder now where it's kind of it's pretty simple. It's plug and play, which means you can put in some music, you can put in some images, and it will help create a very, very simple video. So I think at least I would start there with something very, very simple. And then maybe based on the results, which hopefully are very good, then maybe you focus on doing something with more like lifestyle imagery and such. So I hope that answers your question, Nicholas. Katari, oh, you want me to share? It's vince.m@triviumco.com. It's on the screen, Katari. So just type it down. That's why I have this image up. Let's see. Awesome. Thanks, Vince, for actually using Trivium, and it's great. Awesome. That's great. That's always good to hear. That's one of the reasons why I, came on board here at Trivium to help Mina keep the messages or keep the content coming. Similar to what I was doing at Helium 10. This is one of the favorite things that I like doing, bringing this type of content to the audiences, to the world. So Zane says, is ChatGPT a new thing or is it ChatGPT? Yeah, sorry. ChatGPT is the way you spell it. It just capitalized it because it was the first letter here in the as I was typing. So Zane, you're correct in that spelling. All right. So typically we go until I have questions answered, all questions answered, or until 11 o'clock. But that is all I have today for you guys. So does anyone have any other questions? It's good to see people from YouTube as well as LinkedIn on here. So, all right. And actually, I don't see Facebook on here. So maybe next time I'll get Facebook on here for sure. Figure out why that did not happen. So with that, again, next month, going to be talking more about ChatGPT and kind of AI concepts and how it relates to PPC and to your business. So definitely tune in. Email me if you have any questions or if you want to be on our email distribution list. Or keep an eye out if you watch, Trivium's social media. If you're not on any of Trivium's social media, make sure you follow us, and you will get updates on upcoming episodes. And with that, I will see you guys next time. All right. Thank you.